Swimming pool designs have become a lot more interesting in recent years thanks to the use of new construction techniques and design concepts. Some swimming pools are stranger than fiction. Here are the top 15 most creative swimming pools. Number 15. Crocosaurus Cove. Usually when you go swimming in a public pool, you might find yourself sharing the water with all sorts of people, some of whom might not have chosen the most suitable swimwear. But in Australia, you can go swimming with a monster of a completely different kind. Crocosaurus Cove in the city of Darwin is a tourist attraction that offers guests the opportunity to get up close and personal with the deadliest of predators in the country, saltwater crocodiles. There are viewing platforms where you can watch them being fed, a smaller tank for juvenile crocs that you're able to hold, and possibly the most creative pool in the world where you can actually go swimming with a salty. Of course, you're not in the water without any protection, and in this case it comes in the form of a cylindrical perspex box called the Cage of Death. If you're brave enough, you can stand inside it and be lowered into the pool and get a first-hand perspective of a 16-foot croc and potentially its 3-ton bite force. The scratches in the perspex show that you can expect the creature to try its best to get at the people inside, but it is of course completely safe. Still, when the croc opens its jaws as it tries to get a piece of meat that's hung next to the cage, there's no experience quite as terrifying and as unique as the one offered in this pool. Number 14. Library Resort. When you think of a swimming pool, you usually imagine a big area of calm blue water that's just asking to be jumped into. But the color is purely something that's achieved by the color of the tiles, as the liquid itself is transparent. It's traditional to build pools so that they look blue, but it doesn't have to be the case, and the Library Resort in Chaweng, Thailand has shown just how strange it can be by doing things differently. Their pool has become famous around the world because instead of being blue, the water there is a deep crimson red. It's a color theme that can be seen throughout the luxury establishment, but even though you know in your mind that there's nothing wrong with the water, it still takes a moment before you're comfortable to dive in. The unusual look is created by using a combination of red, orange, and yellow tiles, and is particularly effective because it's within view of the pristine blue ocean that it's built next to. It's somewhere that you really have to see to understand quite how bizarre a sensation swimming in the water truly is. But with prices at the library starting at $400 a night, it's not somewhere many people could justify going to simply for the pool itself. Number 13. Reiter's Supreme Hotel. The Reiter's Supreme Hotel is a luxury resort in Bad Tatzmannsdorf, Austria, an inn and adults-only retreat that's designed to help you escape for some much-needed rest and relaxation. It has a wide range of amenities which include stunning rooms and a number of private saunas, but the thing that really makes it stand out is the variety of different pools that are on offer. There's a 93-degree Fahrenheit pleasure pool that has an infinity edge to look out across the surrounding landscape, a thermal water pool designed to help your muscles relax in a similarly warm 93-degree water, and a thermal brine pool that's filled with mineral-rich 97-degree water that sits above a cool 79-degree freshwater pool that you can jump directly into. But the one that's the most popular at the resort is the Yin and Yang pool. Designed in the traditional shape, the Yang section is warm 93 degrees, while the Yin is a much cooler 64 degrees, which results in people continuously jumping over the divide between the two. Oh, and did we mention that the Yin Yang pool is also the resort's nudist pool, where swimsuits are optional? Number 12. Deep Spot, Poland. There are a number of different pools that have held the record as being one of the deepest in the world in the past few years, but the current holder, as of December 2020 when it opened, is called Deep Spot, and it's in the town of Myszczonów, Poland. At a cost of $10.6 million, it's designed to help train divers who need to reach particularly deep depths, and some of the statistics are hard, almost unbelievable. It contains more than 2.1 million gallons of water, and in the main part of the pool, which is deeper than most, it contains an artificial shipwreck and an area decorated with replicas of Mayan ruins. At the center, though, is an ominous blue hole, and the base of that is almost 150 feet deep. If you're not quite ready to dive into the pool, though, there are other ways you can see this incredible pool for yourself. There's an underwater tunnel that passes through it, for example, and also hotel rooms that have views into the water at a depth of 16 feet. Divers of all levels are welcome to enter the water, but only experienced ones are able to attempt to reach the bottom because it's so deep that you need to perform stops on the way back to surface to avoid developing decompression sickness. Number 11. Starkenberger Castle. There's one thing you usually expect from a pool, and that's that it will be filled with, hopefully, clean water. But what if you wanted to fill it with a different liquid? There may be a few options that come to mind, but the owner of Starkenberger Castle in Tarens, Austria, have surely come up with the best solution. Because here you'll find not one, but 7 pools that are each 13 feet long and are filled with warm, sparkly, frothing beer. Each pool contains 5,250 gallons of the nutrient-rich beverage, and guests are able to fully submerge themselves within it, while drinking a glass of cold, freshly poured beer. Drinking beer directly from the pool is, of course, not advised. They've developed an entire experience around it, which includes trivia and a tour of the history of the beer-making process in the area, as well as plenty of opportunities to try the different varieties. You might wonder how such an idea began in the first place, and rather than being an idea that rose around during a drunken night out, it was actually the result of renovation that took place in the 700-year-old castle in 2005. At that time, the fermentation cellars became obsolete, so they took the opportunity to convert it into a spa instead, and wanted to continue with its beer brewing past. Number 10. Ubud Hanging Gardens. The stunning Ubud Hanging Gardens is a resort in Bali that takes inspiration in part from the ancient hanging gardens of Babylon. Nestled deep within the jungle in a region that's known for its medicinal plants and incredible landscape, it's been a spiritual center for hundreds of years. Guests stay in their own villas and are perched in the treetops that have thatched roofs and rain showers, but the real feature of this place is the split-level infinity pool that offers stunning views out across the backdrop. The pool is built from solidified volcanic ash and lined with locally sourced Batu Shandi stone. And it's the perfect way to relax and unwind after a day of exploring the humid surroundings. It's like a pristine oasis in the jungle canopy, and by swimming up to the edge you feel as if you're going to continue drifting off into paradise. Held in the air on top of wooden pillars and designed throughout along the principles of Feng Shui, the venue is like a contemporary artwork in its own right, and it's no wonder that it won numerous awards for the best pool in the world since it first opened. Number 9. Golden Nugget Hotel. Vegas is known for taking things above and beyond what's possible anywhere else in the world, and if you're looking for a unique and unparalleled swimming experience, then the Golden Nugget Hotel is the place for you. The swimming facility, known as the Tank and Hideout Pool Complex, cost over $30 million to construct and features a pool that, as you'd expect in Vegas, is surrounded by 17 private cabanas that are arranged over 3 floors of the venue. There's also a bar, of course, but there's one thing on offer here that you won't find anywhere else: a water slide that takes you right through the middle of a 20,000-gallon shark tank aquarium. There are 5 species of shark in the tank, which includes 4 black-tip sharks, 3 tiger sharks, 4 sandbar sharks, 2 zebra sharks, and 2 nurse sharks. To complete the display, there are also hundreds of other exotic fish in the tank too, and amazingly, it's rare that the sharks try to feast on them. Instead, they're regularly fed by the dedicated team that looks after the animals, and the intent is that as well as providing a unique experience, the venue also helps to educate people about these amazing creatures. We are constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button. Number 8. Amangiri Resort. Deep within the remote landscape of Utah, at a place called Canyon Point, there's an exclusive hideaway resort called Amangiri. It's built on the side of an eroded cliff with spectacular views across the nearby Lake Powell, but guests don't have to go far for a swim, because the venue has one of the most unique swimming pools you'll find anywhere in the world. The entire structure has been built by using local materials, so it fits in with the surrounding landscape. Most of the luxury suites have their own private pools, along with access to steam rooms, a sauna, and spa pools. The central feature, though, is the hotel's main pool that's been custom designed to fit in perfectly. Most places around the world would choose a flat piece of land to build a pool and choose a traditional rectangular or circular design, but this one's very different. As the resort is built on a cliff, designers had to contend with an outcrop of a 165-million-year-old Aeolian sandstone formation, and instead of removing it to make space, they instead designed the pool to curve around it. The designers also ensured that the pool was built using sand and cement that was sourced locally, and the result is a pool that looks like it is formed naturally there, just like the cliff itself and the lake below. Number 7. Arizona Diamondbacks. When you go to watch your favorite team play, you normally have to put up with sitting in an uncomfortable seat, or if you're lucky, spend the time in a hospitality box or in the VIP seating. Fans of the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is a baseball team in Phoenix, have a different option though, because there's a swimming pool at the end of the ballpark. Apparently, the idea came up when three of the park's designers were looking at a model of the proposed design, and one of them mentioned how it was a shame that it didn't feature a novelty shower like the one used to be in the center field of White Sox Stadium. They looked at each other, knowing that they could go one better. One of them suggested a swimming pool as a joke. It had soon become a reality, however, and by 1998, when the park opened, there was a custom-designed curved pool on the other side of the right field fence, which was surrounded by umbrellas, deck chairs, and even a hot tub. To begin with, the baseball world wasn't exactly ready for something like this, and it was met with ridicule. But one by one, other parks began to incorporate their own unusual designs, such as the Model Railway in Houston and Atlanta's Zipwire. Still, the original pool will always be the best, and it's still popular to this day. Despite costing $4,700 to hire per game, it's always sold, and now become a tradition that when the team succeeds in an important victory, they'll run over to celebrate by the pool, and usually end up in the water. Number 6. Marina Bay Sands Resort. If you've ever been to downtown Singapore since 2010, you'll have definitely seen this next swimming pool, although you may not have actually realized that it was one. The skyline of the city is dominated by the Marina Bay Sands Resort, which is made up of three 55-story hotel towers that are connected together by a huge sky terrace. It is an incredible feat of engineering, because the terrace is actually sat on top of jacks that ensure it remains perfectly flat, no matter how much the buildings move. And this is important because as well as being an observation platform, it's also where you'll find the hotel's swimming pool. Unbelievably, at 57 stories in the air, it's the world's highest rooftop infinity pool. It's made from 422,000 pounds of stainless steel and holds a total of 376,000 gallons of water. It has a 479-foot-long vanishing edge to one side, which means you can swim up against it and look out across the city with an unparalleled view. It's undoubtedly one of the most creative and perfectly designed pools you'll find on the planet, and at the same time one of the most nerve-inducing because of the sensation that there's a 627-foot drop on the other side of the pool wall, even though, of course, there's a safety platform beneath to prevent any accidents. Number 5. Città del Mar Resort. The Città del Mar Resort in Palermo, Sicily, isn't exactly the luxurious retreat you may expect on the shores of the Mediterranean. But what it lacks in creature comforts or customer service, it more than makes up for with its creative pool. Normally, when you're vacationing on a beachside venue, you have a choice between swimming in the fresh water of a swimming pool or the natural salt water of the ocean. And when you use a slide, you'd expect to splash down in a pool that's full of the same water you were in at the top. Here, though, you can get the best of both worlds, because as well as having a normal Olympic-sized pool, they also have a network of two smaller pools that are connected by slides, and a further slide that leads directly into the Mediterranean itself. When the pools opened in 2012, they were declared as some of the craziest in the world because of their unique designs, and they continue to excite people to this day. It feels strange starting in a chlorinated pool and ending up in the sea, but after your first time down the slides, you'll be certain to be climbing straight back up the stairs for another go. Number 4. Neptune Pool at Hearst Castle. The Hearst Castle in California is a huge structure that's now a National Historic Landmark that was built between 1919 and 1947. It was the center of the Californian social scene in the 20s and 30s, with its architectural splendor that compares with historical castles elsewhere in the world. No mansion in California would be complete without a swimming pool, though, and Hearst Castle's is particularly special. Known as the Neptune Pool, it's just how you'd imagine wealthy ancient Greeks would have designed theirs. It ranges between 58 and 95 feet wide, it's 104 feet long, and ranges between 3.5 and 10 feet deep. It took 3 attempts for the owners to get the pool just right, something that involved tearing out the original structures and starting again from scratch. And the final version, which was completed by 1936, incorporates fountains, ornamental pools, various marble sculptures, pavilions, lanterns, and even a replica temple front. No expense was spared in its construction, and it's filled with 345,000 gallons of water that's pumped there directly from the Santa Lucia Mountains. Due to its age, it's seen better days, though, and had to be drained in 2014 during a drought because it was discovered that the pool was leaking 5,000 gallons of water per day. During this time, the opportunity was taken to replace the tiles and ensure it was watertight. It's now been fully renovated and ready to host parties for the next 80 years. Number 3. Aquadome, Ötztal. Because of its cold, mountainous climate, there's a long tradition of outdoor spas in Austria, and one of the most creative and modern ones that you can visit is the Aquadome, which is in a region called Ötztal. It has a huge sauna, even by Austrian standards, 2 thermal pools, an artificial waterfall, 2 large indoor swimming pools, and a huge range of treatment rooms, relaxation areas, and luxurious accommodations. What really makes this place stand out above the rest, though, is the outdoor spa, which features 3 bowl-shaped pools that seem as if they're floating above the ground. Known as the Talfrisch, this is an architectural masterpiece where the designers developed ways to reduce the weight of the pool structures to such an extent that they could be supported on surprisingly thin stands. The 3 pools are arranged around an illuminated glass cone. This allows guests to swim in the water while taking in the breathtaking surroundings, while at the same time getting some much-needed rest and relaxation. If that's not enough, it's a family-friendly resort too. And even though children aren't allowed in the main pools, there's a whole separate water world called the Alpen Arkanoa, with plenty of features to keep them entertained as well. Number 2. Chongwei River House. The open plains in Africa are one of the last places on Earth where you can truly see the world as nature intended, without being blighted by human development and activity. Safari lodges have long been a popular destination where visitors get the chance to live in the middle of wildlife reserves and can wake up every morning with spectacular views of the native species roaming around the lodgings. But there's a place in Zambia where the experience is truly one of a kind. Called the Chongwei River House, it's a structure that's been built near the lower Zambezi on a tributary called the Chongwei River. It's located within a huge winterthorn grove and is in the shadows of the nearby mountain range. Even on the approach to the house, you can't help but be amazed by the incredible views of the river and surrounding landscape. And once you enter, you realize that this is a truly special place. But the surprises aren't over yet, because as you walk through the living room, that's when you see the house's swimming pool, which is positioned on the rear decking and is built from local materials such as pebbles from the river in the same way as the house, so it almost looks like it's a completely natural formation. As you swim in the waters, you look out across the river, which is the watering hole for countless local animal species, and you're almost guaranteed to be able to relax there at any time of day and be accompanied by animals like elephants, giraffes, and potentially even fearsome predators as they venture into the river to drink. It's described as one of the most exhilarating swimming experiences anywhere on Earth, and for good reason. Number 1. Market Square Plaza Sky Pool. If you haven't exactly got a good head for heights, then this next pool is probably one of the last places you'd ever want to go for a swim. Located in Houston, Texas, it's hardly the only elevated pool in the city, but the Sky Pool at the Market Square Plaza has an unbelievably creative feature built into it. It has a completely transparent Perspex floor. When you first walk out onto the rooftop, it looks just like any other. There are 2 pools to choose from, and the deck is surrounded with loungers to relax on. But the shape of the pool is slightly unusual. At the far end, a small section juts out. And this isn't just a quirky design feature, because this part of the pool actually hangs over the edge of the building. In fact, it actually reached 10 feet out from the side. Beneath it, there's a 502-foot drop to the street. The floor is made from 8-inch thick acrylic glass that curves up at the front to ensure uninterrupted views of what's happening below. The pool was opened in 2016, and according to the architects, the idea was for it to be an attention grabber that would help the company sell units in the 463 apartment building. As you can imagine, the novelty of the pool has helped the project become a resounding success, with people from all over the city wanting their opportunity to swim in the sky and feel the sensation that they're flying for themselves. If you had the chance, do you think you'd be brave enough to swim there? Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.